Hi guys, and welcome back to At Our Modern Farmhouse with Pat and Cat, or Cat and Pat. So today's episode, we're going to build a rustic planter, either for indoor or outdoor. So currently we have some planters outside. We used to just buy the plants in the plastic pots and put them inside of it, but we decided to use them permanently. So we added dirt to them, permanently planted some things in them. So now those are not useful for us in the winter, when we used to take our Christmas trees and put those inside. So we wanted to do something rustic. So I was kind of looking through the web and I found this simple design. So I thought I'd build something like this and then show you guys how to do that. So basically what we got here is a cedar box. Got an interior built into it to elevate the pot. Now, you can't actually use this particular box as a planter with dirt because, as you can see, I do have sides in here. I've got them separated, so dirt's not going to stay in it. But one of the main reasons for building this box was for in the winter, we're going to take our Christmas trees that we put on our porch, and we're going to put those inside of them. Looks pretty cool. Didn't take a long time to build. Actually pretty easy. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of how I built these, and we'll go through there and we'll show you the finished product at the end. Like I said, we'll just use cedar that I got at Home Depot. I looked at several different types of woods that I was going to use. What I decided to go with were just some pickets. These are 3.5 by 5/8 by 8 foot. This is a 20 by 20 square by 21.5 inch tall. So because these are 20-inch squares, or 20 inch on each side, I can get 3 cuts per side out of one of these pieces. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use these and I'm gonna cut these down to 3 pieces. It takes 5 of these per side, so I'm gonna have 20 of these. And then for my legs, I found these balusters. These are 48 inches. I need them to be 21.5 so I can get 2 cuts out of these. These cost me, $2 at Home Depot, so I can get 2 cuts out of these, so $1 each. Then what we'll end up doing is we'll take another baluster and we'll rip it down for the internal rails in here that go horizontally to hold our internal form in there so we can set our pot in there. So what I did is I built me a kind of a primitive jig, so I don't have to measure out every cut. So I basically took some scrap wood, stacked it together, kind of just tacked it to this table, built me a stop. I measured out 20 inches to where I need to be, cut on the long side, and I've mounted my saw to the table. So what we're going to do is just start ripping these down. It's going to be a long process because I've got a lot to rip. Get my safety glasses on. And we'll just start ripping these down and then get these done and we'll come back to the next part. Having this jig here really makes it nice so you don't have to measure them all out. so we've got all of our sides cut. So let's move on to our legs. Like I said, we're going to use these 1x1 balusters, or 1.5 by 1.5 balusters for our legs. So we'll go ahead and knock that end off of that stop because we don't need that anymore. So I just tacked that together with some brad nails. Pretty simple. So I've already got these marked out. We need 4 of these at 21.5. Okay, so we got our legs. So we got our 4 legs, we got our 20 side pieces, and we're going to go ahead and start putting those together. I'm going to wait to cut the horizontal pieces that hold the internal vertical or horizontal pieces that hold the pot. So we'll go ahead and start with the 2 sides. So as you can see on this here, it's pretty simple. The front is actually going to overlap the sides, and the sides are actually going to be inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up these pieces with the corners of the legs, and then when I put the fronts on, I'll overlap the sides. That gives it that finished look in the front, and on the sides you can see they just tie in on the sides. So putting the sides together first is a little easier. So get this kind of cleaned off, and what I'm using to put those on, I'm using just some black wood. Actually, these are drywall screws, but we like them. They're a coarse thread, number 6 by 1.25 inch. They work pretty good. So I'll show you how I'm going to make the gap too. Pretty easy to use the gap. I'm just using a piece of this wood, so it's going to be a 5/8 gap between all these side rails. So now what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to put 1 screw in it. I'm not going to tighten everything down right now. So I'll grab one of these pieces of scrap. What I'll do is I'll just set it in between these. That'll give me my gap. Continue this down until we get 5 of these in place, and then we'll move on to the next side. The screws don't have to be in line; they can be off. They don't have to be directly in a line. If you have them kind of cattywampus to each other, kind of gives it that rustic feel, like it was hand built. not made in a professional shop somewhere or produced or whatever. So we'll just put that many in for now. We'll grab our other side and we'll get it all put together. So there we go. So we got one of our sides put together. Now I'm not going to put a screw in right here because I'm going to have a vertical or a horizontal that goes through here that's going to hold our internal slats that actually our pot will set on. So I'm going to wait to put, because we're going to come down, I think it's 11 inches down from the top is where I've got my high set. So I want that horizontal bar to be right at the bottom of this third slat. So it'll go in here, it'll be hidden inside. So we'll go ahead and put this one down, we'll get on to the next one, and then we'll come back for the front and the back. Okay, so we've got our sides built. We're going to go ahead and start. We're going to take these actually and put them on their side. And then I'm going to grab my cross for the front. And I'm just going to throw some brad nails in it to hold it together until I can get them screwed together. So let's grab some of these. So I don't need to use a guide over here because what I'm going to use are just the sides, the sideboards, so they're just going to line up. So we'll just start on this side here. You just make sure you get it lined up with the other board. Just grab my nailer. Just going to throw some of these in here to hold it in place. Makes it a little easier to work with when you got some nails in it. Just make sure they're lined up. It'll start squaring itself up once you get everything tacked down. And we use the black screws because we like that rustic look, so we thought the black stood out on the cedar. That's why it was black. You know, they're not it's not stainless steel. They're not made for outdoors, so they might start rusting, which is fine because we like that rustic look. So a little rust on there is not going to bother us at all. So we're just tacking these into place until we can come back. Get screws put in them. I could just use brad nails on the whole project, but I think the screws really add to it, so that's why we decided to do that. Okay, so we got that side put together. Flip it over and just repeat on the other side. Trying to pick out the ones that have the most knots in them. I like that look, so see which ones look the most rustic. These look pretty good. Just gonna lay them out. So I think we got it enough, put together enough at this point where we can start putting some screws in it. So tack this one on the bottom into place, and we'll just start screwing them in. Finish up with that screws. Grab our screws, a gun. We'll start screwing them together. You don't want to tighten these down too tight because this is pine, soft pine, so they can split the wood. You just want to be sure not to drive it all the way in there. So we'll get all these put into place, and then we'll come back. Our next thing we're going to do after this is going to be to put those horizontal sides on the inside so we can put our base in there. Okay guys, so we've got our side rails in place in here on both sides. And they're on would be the side of the box that's going to be facing, the sides basically. Got those in there. So what we're going to do, if you can see in this box, I used some leftover cedar that we used for picture frames that we did in the house. I had that left over, so I just went ahead and used that for the bottom in this particular one. But over here I had some extra picket, so the bottom in this one's going to be a little bit different. You can't see it from the side, plus once you have the pots in there, it's not going to matter. So we've already got 3 in place. This one's going to close it up a little better as well. So let's go and lay these in here. So as you can see, that kind of closes that up. Again, it's still not going to hold dirt. Eventually, I'm going to do another one that's going to have either vertical or horizontal sides solid, so it will hold dirt. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tack those into place with our brad nailer. It's got a good look to it as well. I just wanted to use up some old wood that we had, so that's why I used that particular wood in that one, and the leftover cedar that I had on the pickets on this one. So there we go. 2 rustic boxes, planters, whatever you want to do. If you want to buy a plant from the store, maybe in the fall time when mums are popular, they do die out, or you need to plant them in the ground. This would be a great idea to do for those planters, for those mums, or any other plant that you want to purchase and put in these. But simple design, doesn't take a long time to build, really inexpensive. I think both of these boxes all in, and that's with buying the screws, like $15 maybe to build them. So anyways, I hope you like it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.